Okay, so I enjoyed the heck out of this episode. Um, I was surprised at how. I mean, this was not a comedy episode like the trailer suggested it would be. Um, there's a lot of serious moments in this, so I guess we'll just jump right in. So it starts off before the intro talking about how Don Black, and it's been a year officially on the date. Whenever whatever day it is in that universe, in that world. And he says, hopefully I see my not to me today and whatnot. And then he gets involved saving this kid that is trying to basically jump off a building and suicide. And he transforms and then goes through this door, and the door actually opens like off the building, and he kicks him back onto the building, over the railing and everything. And it knocked him out, which I don't think he kicked him that hard enough. I guess he did. I don't know. That was I didn't understand how he could get knocked out from that. But maybe he hit his head on the ground really hard or something. I don't know. But then we see the evil White Ranger. I guess it's implied that she kind of set him up to help him kill himself. I'm going to say that quietly. It's kind of implied with that, because she finds out that, hey, like, you're the mutt. You're the dog, part of DonBrothers. You're Don Black. Now I know who you are. And then, because they had this whole conversation, episode 5 or 6, I think it was. There's a couple callbacks in here. So I like the world building that goes on here. We'll get to one later on, which I think was really neat. But she finds out, and they had a conversation. What is love? Trying to figure that out and whatnot. And she essentially asks again, like, what do you think it is now that I see you, between last time and this time that I've seen you? And he essentially says, love is light. It's a guiding pathway, essentially. And that's that's basically it. Obviously, there's some of it comes after the intro, but I thought it was a good scene. Again, I didn't. To me, it made no sense how it looked like a small little kick that he did, and then he gets knocked out. I don't know. I'm laughing at something dumb like that. But then we go, and Don Black, which, by the way, he's it. Like, there's no subplot, no other characters, except for the final battle, which didn't even need to be needed. I honestly, if we didn't have a monster in this episode, I would have been like, okay, let's have a two-parter here. And just, one full of just the humans, backstory and all this other stuff, and then the second we can have, a bunch of fights. I think I would have preferred that, but I mean, I didn't mind this. Again, it was enough focus on the humans, and the fighting and the Megazord were last 5 minutes, and that's it. Like, most of this episode was basically just learning about Don Black's past, following him around. We see them kind of talking about this girl named Kana, who, again, the guy was going to jump off a building. And I'm sorry, I'm just so bad. I don't know why. It just that scene just keeps popping up in my head. I'm like, this guy just kicked him over the railing. It's not funny. I promise it's not. I don't know why. It's just the way it happened, I guess, is what goes through my mind. And they kind of talk, and he kind of reveals stuff, and then they decide, I'm gonna dress up like a devil, attack her, and you're gonna beat me up. Okay. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. And that's what we mainly see in the trailers. And it lasts 5 minutes. I mean, this guy's in the suit. He gets attacked by the 6th Ranger, Don Dragon. This man's like, you're not a monster, but you're suspicious, and bam. It's beats him up. I know that was a really good comedic scene in my opinion. I really enjoyed that scene. It was very comedic. So then they get out of the costume and they decide, okay, well, that didn't work. She thinks I'm ditching her again and whatnot, and then again, that's when we get the backstory. We find out that Don Black is in I think it's a troupe. It's a musical troupe, I think is what it's called. And they went on a vacation, or they went up somewhere. We're sleeping in a log cabin in the woods, and that's when the bestials came out. So apparently we're gonna have to go to the woods to fight the bestials because they don't want to come to the city, or they don't want to do anything in the city, I should say, because we've seen two of them, I think, 2 or 3 in the city, and we're not gonna do anything. So okay. But again, we find out. I think this scene has been shown off a couple times of her getting sucked into a portal, and you kind of see their hands kind of, not quite, and then they get separated. We see that the bestial, he's kind of in like a fog form, like a cloud form, I guess, holds him back as she gets sucked through the portal. We see the full thing, and then the characters put 2 and 2 together. Hey, that's why he's on the run, and this is what the real story is. And so then Evil White Ranger comes back, essentially says along the lines of, well, you're in for a lot of pain if that's your true story, because I guess she was listening, hiding under the bridge, because they were right next to a bridge. So then she walks away. The guy follows him, and they get to this. She always wants to go to a restaurant, so the evil White Ranger is sitting there saying, hey, say the words, say I love you and whatnot. And he starts to say it, and then the guy goes, no, Kanna's the only one for me. So then, I mean, that's when this episode just, I did not like the fight in this. I didn't think it was needed. If they would have done a 2-parter and then you have the fight in the second episode, I wouldn't fine with that. But basically, we go back, they start talking again, and then she's like, well, when you ditched me to run away from a monster, which was a callback to another monster, couple weeks, I forget, I think it was episode 11, 12 maybe, I forget what episode. There's been so many monsters, I can't remember which, but it was semi-recent. The guy took off, she got her purse stuck in this decorative fence thing, on like a skywalkway. Well, that I call them skywalkways. I don't know what they're actually called, but it's it's above the ground, and you have like a walkway. I call it a skywalkway. So then Don Black saves her, and she goes, "Yeah, I fell in love with him." What? Why are we? Then she finds out he's a fugitive, and she goes crazy. This woman has pictures all over her wall. She has a bedding of his wanted poster. I'm just. What? Why are we? Oh my god! I don't know. I don't even know what to say, because I just. We don't get a resolve, because obviously Kanna and the guy end up getting back together, and they kind of ignore Don Black in the end. But we don't get a resolve. We don't see that happen because she turns into a monster. But obviously, this whole episode it's been implying that he would. But then she does, saying, where's my Prince Charming and whatnot. And I have a feeling we're going to get this weird episode where, probably next episode, the whole training montage where Don Blue and Don Yellow are holding up Don Red. And Don Blue goes like, hey, we're not your chairs, something along the lines of that. And then they get into the fight, which the evil orange Brown, I forgot to look that up. I've been meaning to do that for a couple weeks. He hasn't been in a couple episodes recently, but he comes up. They fight him. Evil White Ranger gets involved too. It's all this big fight. Then they separate the evils from the monster, go after the monster and Roberto, while the Sixth Ranger transforms into is it Zoo Dragon, I think, whatever, the green Ranger, Mighty Morphin Green, whatever. I think it's I think it's is it Zoo Dragon? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the actual Zoo Ranger, um, and it's not ZOO, it's ZYU. I think I believe it's not. Anyway, he transforms into that, kind of fights off uh, the evil Rangers while while the rest of the team takes care of Kana, who could get transformed. We get the fight, which I don't know if it's ever been stated or shown, but it's like a world above Earth kind of thing. So again, I don't know if that was ever shown. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like another layer on top, and I can't remember. Maybe in the intro, I almost said entry. The intro, maybe there was something along the lines there. I can't remember. But they have that. They fight the monster, kill the monster in I think it's 2 minutes. Obviously, in their transformed Robotaro Megazord, come back down again. That's when we see Don Black's walking around, and he sees the couple in pink shirts. I don't know. I don't remember what it says. I don't remember what the wording says on it. But again, they ignore him. So which he thinks, okay, that's a good thing. Don't really need people paying attention to me and whatnot. And just, I mean, we don't get a closing for Natsumi. I talked about this last week too, and it feels like we're gonna get all of the evil Rangers and good Rangers figuring out who everyone is before we get this Natsumi storyline wrapped up. And I talked about that at the end for when we had this preview. And I thought, why they could have wrapped it up here. Maybe here's what they could have done. Again, this could have been a 2-parter episode. This very well could have. Let's say it was. So the first episode here, if it was 2-parter, this is how I would write it. So obviously you have the whole thing with what's going on with the couple. He saves them off from suiciding. Then we get some information. Then they have this kind of, they talk, but then they don't talk. And then again, he goes to help Don Black, who's in the devil costume, and she thinks, okay, well, why do I keep going after this guy who doesn't want to talk to me? So then that's, you kind of leave her for the second episode, and you focus on those two, and then I don't know how to fit a monster in there. I guess you could turn him into a monster in the first episode, her in the second one. I guess that I'm thinking on the fly here. But then you could have Natsumi kind of at the end of the episode here, after he turns into a monster, they save him, and he's walking around confused, and Don Black's trying to find him. Natsumi pops up, and that's left a cliffhanger as they see each other, and then you get the next episode. You get a little more information, maybe something along the lines of, I can't see you right now, or whatever, and we set the Natsumi storyline for later on, versus what we did here, where we just basically did nothing with it. He sees her, chases after her in a bit, and then she's in a flower shop with Don Pink, who's waiting outside, and Don Pink's like, I just saw a beautiful girl go that way, and then it just wasn't her, and it's just they could have handled this Natsumi thing way better. This probably my least favorite storyline so far. We're 17 episodes in, and I get it. You have to pad the runtime. There's almost 50 episodes. They have till next February to get this all done. We're in June. We're coming up on July here in a couple days, but we're we're in June, so they could technically pad this storyline till January, and then finish it up, and then we get the final battle in February. That's what they could do. I'm not a fan of it, especially because they've done so much teasing of it early on, and I don't know. I'm losing interest in it, because you just know Don Black is not going to find her in this episode, next episode, blah blah blah. Because next episode, in which I haven't even talked about yet, we're getting a upgraded form, I guess, for the evil Blue Ranger, who is now a Purple Ranger that looks like Don Red. Obviously, there's some unique twist to him. He's got like a blue blue gear, which I think that's going to look really sick. That's probably already going to be a toy next week. But we're getting a training montage of them coming up to, Don Red's level. He's gonna try to get him up there, and then we're gonna get the fights with, Don Purple, Don Red, the rest of the members try to intervene and whatnot. So again, we're leaving Natsumi high and dry. The storyline, we're going back to something else. Which again, I get it, but you've done this 3 or 4 times already in the span of 17 episodes. It's especially because they made a point early on in the season. I know I'm rambling. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. This is my last point. They made a point early on in the season of, 1 year and I will be able to see her again. And it kind of came up a couple times in the first 16 episodes. And then you get the start of the episode. It's like, oh my God, like it's been a year on the day. Like this is the day I'm going to meet Natsumi. Like they built this up kind of haphazardly, but they built it up a little bit. And they just discard it. Again, this is why I said in previous episodes, it feels like there's different writers for the first half and the second half of these episodes because you just build up stuff and you're not paying it off. Again, this is supposed to be a year later. You're supposed to get some information. Maybe the Beasts are like, yeah, you know what? Screw you. I lied. Like you could have had something like that. A whole scene where he comes face to face with the Bestial. And the Bestial just laughs and goes, yeah, I tricked you. You think I was gonna let you see her again after 1 year? Like, ha, no. They could have done something like that. Okay. I'm probably gonna make a whole nother video on this week. Let's just wrap up. For now, like the video, share the video around, don't subscribe. Later this week, we're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna go more in depth. It's peeving me off. So, I already said my outro again. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.